You can leave me out of it.
You don't want to be in it? Oh, come on, guys.
You guys want to see Bud. Y'all want to see Bud. You don't want to see me.
They want to see us all.
You remember, these mics are very directional. You got to be right in front of it.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to be right on it, but you got to be right.
Not a condenser mic. Really, most of the time when you sing, you have to put the thing right there to get a really good sound.
I don't think I'll be doing that. Like,
what's rocking this weekend that we need to talk about too?
What's rocking this weekend? Well, 4th Friday was yesterday, so that's over.
Ooh.
Today.
Yesterday was Friday. I missed another one.
You missed a Friday.
Just
that's funny.
Flew out of my head.
I never miss a Friday because I look forward to them like all week. All week is just leading up to the Friday for me.
Wow. Can you read that?
Mm-hmm.
That
it's hieroglyphics. But you have to, if you've
it's
studied
better
Egyptian
than my
hieroglyphics,
handwriting, I want to tell you.
Did you write that?
I couldn't write that neatly.
That was what you call a rush job.
So let me see. This week I was focusing on summer fun for kids, but cheap summer fun.
Okay.
Because, we all got budgets.
Okay.
So that's what I did. I have a post up about cheap summer fun.
Okay.
Like libraries, museums, all that lovely stuff.
Who's on one?
Who's on first?
I'm on 4.
Huh? You on 4?
I'm the host.
You're on 4.
No, I'm just kidding.
4 is good, Mike.
Who's on first? Yeah, you forget that
I'll
one.
move over here.
Oh, now you're going to confuse her.
She's like, no, I was just getting it.
3, 2, and 1.
Am I close enough? I know what you said.
You don't have to be real right on time. You just got to be
in
speaking
front.
in front.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to come out louder.
You don't want to be out in the cone of silence.
No, that either.
It'll sound like you're in an echo chamber.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're down the hall somewhere.
I'm sure someone will say, get in front of the mic if you...
Hello.
Where's the clock?
She holds up a sign that tells us when we're done.
I know something missing, a clock. Thank you.
So now you got to make a note to self. Add a clock.
Note to Wes. Where are you? note to Wes. Clock in the room.
Yeah. How do you know when to go on the air if you don't got a clock?
I'm here.
We can go whenever you're ready.
All right.
He already said what's going on.
Well, we're just recording here.
You gonna take a break or you gonna go straight through?
We can take a break.
All right.
People like to hear ads. We can use a break every now and then.
And your girls did good last week.
That's what I heard.
All right.
Maybe they'll replace me.
No, you're irreplaceable, Wade.
Say that. All righty, boss man, if you're ready,
Yeah,
you can begin. In 3. Can't hear my speakers. 2, 1.
Hey, listening to What's Going On Fayetteville right here on the WIDU Radio Networks. Wade Fowler here. And we're listening on WIDU 1600 AM Fayetteville, North Carolina, WAGR 1340 AM Lumberton, North Carolina, WYDU 1160 AM Red Springs, WEWO, the famous WIWO at 1460 AM in Laurinburg, North Carolina. Call-in number here is 910-483-6111. And you know what? We really do like talking to you if you call in. And you can listen to us on the World Wide Web if you can't pick up the radio. It's WIDUradio.com. We are part of the WIDU Radio Network. And I just wanted to tell you guys, thanks for listening in this morning. And you're going to be excited to know we got some really great guests in with us today. We've got Tiffany Haywood, a.k.a. TheMrsTee.
Yeah.
Blogger extraordinaire. And then a friend of mine that I met some years ago. We're going to talk a little bit about how we met and how he got doing what he's doing. But he's the owner of Das Bavarian House Restaurant at 3500 Murchison Road. Bud Hogan. Hey, Bud.
Thank you, Wade. Appreciate it.
Well, Tiffany, I want to start with you first. Just find out what's going on, because we're talking about what's going on. What's happening in Fayetteville this week that people need to know about in a way maybe to entertain their children, particularly those that have kids.
Yes, and for me, the start of summer means the start of trying to avoid that boredom monster that tends to set in. You know, the one where your kids forget that, hey, mommy is not an activities director. But so for me to do that, I have to go find all the local events I can, and the more budget friendly they are, the better, obviously. And the one I found for the start of summer is actually Screen on the Green, right in Spring Lake, and they have a movie in Mendoza Park every second Friday of the month. And they start at 6, they end about 10 p.m., which is still good because, you know, we have the whole daylight savings thing, so it's not too bad being out there. You get to bring your own chairs, your own blankets, and they have food trucks, Wade. Food trucks.
No, they have food trucks?
Yes.
Mm. I know somebody that owns one.
Yeah. I thought you might. So they have food trucks. The first one was June 8th, and they had babans, fried chicken, and they also had the ice, like the slushy.
Yeah, slushy thing.
Yes, and it was really great. My kids loved it. They're already asking me when the next movie is.
But I mean, with daylight savings time, it doesn't get dark until like 9. How do they show a movie out there?
They had to. Well, the movie itself didn't start until 9. That was a heads up that I did not realize. And my son kind of mentioned it to me. He was like, "Mom, you do know we're here kind of early because they're not actually going to run the movie until it gets dark." And I was like, that would have been something to think about. But it was still super fun. The bugs weren't that bad, which was what I was expecting, but they weren't. And the kids had a blast. The first movie was Black Panther, and the next one is going to be... Yeah,
I mean,
they have...
That's like a new release.
Exactly. And I was expecting, like, you know, them to show, like, Toy Story or something from a while ago, but they had, like, Black Panther. The next one is going to be Jumanji.
Okay.
And then in August, it's going to be Coco.
Okay, cool.
So, and it's free to attend. All you have to do is bring money for food.
Food. Well, since we're talking about food.
And segue.
Yeah, thank you, Tiffany.
Talk to my friend Bud Hogan. I have to tell you this story, Tiffany. I want to tell you how we met.
Okay.
I had to go to Ed's Tire in Auto on Murchison Road for some tires. And it was around lunchtime when I got done. And I'm driving down and I see this sign that says Das Bavarian House. I said, German restaurant. I used to live in Germany when I was in the Air Force. I said, I haven't had German food in so long. And I pull in, and I go in there, and there's this dude in there who act like he'd known me all my life the minute I walked in the door. And he's an retired Oklahoma school teacher.
Wow.
Who plays the piano like crazy, I'm just telling you. And we sit down, start talking food and eating, and that's how I got to know Bud Hogan.
Yep.
And, Bud,
thanks for
being here.
Pretty unforgettable meeting, I believe. Yeah. Don't ask me to talk. Don't ask me to talk. I'm just sitting here saying yes, sir, yes, sir.
No, I know you better than that, man. You can talk up a storm.
He's faking for us right now.
He's faking for us right now. He's playing shy.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I think I believe Bud can talk more than that because we just met out there. And
I need a script in front of me. I'm used to dealing with scripts here.
Well, but, this is what I thought was kind of interesting, but I thought people might find it interesting. How does an Oklahoma music teacher become a German restaurant owner in Fayetteville, North Carolina?
Total mistake.
It was just a big oops, right?
Oh, it's just a philosophy. Never be afraid of trying something. And I love food. That's the thing. And I know both of you. I just met Tiffany, but I can already tell she's just like us. She's a foodie.
Yes.
And you have got to be the biggest foodie I've ever met besides myself. We just love good food. And my whole thing was I love brats. You just can't go someplace and get a good brat. If you want to make it, sure, you can make it at home. It's pretty simple. You know, put on your water on the stove, boil it up a little bit, put it on the grill, fry it. But you don't get the whole ambiance of going out and enjoying the public and the people. So I just wanted a place where I could get a good brat, and started with a food trailer. That's what it was supposed to be.
I'm well aware. I'm well aware of that trailer.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about your trailer.
I've kind of stolen the trailer from him for a while.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I feel some history with the trailer there going on.
No, there's no tension at all.
No. She said history.
History. Oh, the history. Yeah, it's there.
So
I'm
you
old.
ended up with the trailer?
Bud, I put it this way: I would not have my restaurant right now if it weren't for Bud.
Oh, see, that's amazing.
Bud let my brother. Well, it started out talking about food, right?
Well, absolutely. Yeah,
Bud and I were sitting in the restaurant, and I just fell in love with the guy the first time I met him going to the restaurant. So I kept going, and I fell in love with the food. So I kept going back. By the way, if you've never had a schnitzel at Don's Bavarian House.
Now, see, I told him I'm a foodie in training. So I'm going to need, like, some of the German foods, I'm going to need them explained. What is a schnitzel?
You need, a schnitzel is a pork cutlet. You tell her.
Right, well, pork cutlet. You take a pork loin, and then we slice it into some big chunks, but then you pound it flat. And so it comes out, it'll cover the plate. It comes out
bigger than your plate.
It'll cover the plate most of the time.
Now that's always amazing. I love big servings.
And then you bread it and fry it.
And I did do my research. They have pork or chicken schnitzels, right?
We do a chicken schnitzel. That's a unique chicken schnitzel. It's not a chicken tenders. If you're expecting something like that, forget it. Ours is heavily spiced with cumin and nutmeg. Some people, that's all they order when they come in. But
so
some people hate it. I mean, food, it's all personal taste.
True.
And so we serve it often with a ram sauce, which is a cream gravy on top of it. And some people, that's all they've ever eaten at our place.
So I know what I'm going to be ordering first.
Well, ask for a taste of it. If we got some of it, we'll let you try it.
Okay, yeah. I'll do that. I'll definitely do that.
Right.
I can't wait. And I have another question.
Yes.
I'm a sweets girl. I have a really big sweet tooth. And I saw something called a bee sting cake.
Oh, yes.
The name alone caught my attention. So what is that?
Well, it's just a traditional German dessert. It's a cake with a cream filling on top, and then it's covered with sliced almonds, and then it's a hard sugar coating is poured on top of it, and it's quite unique. Okay, and it's delicious, and we make it down there.
It's fresh made.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, I have my meal set. I know what I'm ordering as soon as I go.
Now, I want you to understand this. When I met him and talked to him, the first thing I asked him about was, how in the world did you end up running it? Well, they took a trip to Germany.
Oh, we've been there, yeah.
And fell in love with the food. This, if I'm remembering the story right.
Yeah, you're close enough.
But they came back from Germany and said, I think we ought to open a German restaurant because we want to keep eating German food.
Like you want to have it right on hand, right?
We eat German food everywhere we go. Even now, owning a restaurant here, if we get out of town, we eat German food. I love it.
You just love it that much.
Yeah, well, we eat everything though.
Yeah.
We love barbecue. I mean, when Wade said something about opening a barbecue thing in our trailer,
board, right?
I'm going, yeah. Hey, we got the trailer here. Help yourself.
Yeah, I want to tell you this is about how businesses work together.
Community.
This guy right here just believes in helping people. I mean, that's what's so great. He's got his restaurant. He's trying to get going. He's got this food trailer that he had been using. We had been talking barbecue, and my brother David, who had gotten me started barbecuing, and we're talking, and he said, well, why don't you guys use my food trailer? We'll park it back behind the restaurant, and, you can use it and your deal. And it was kind of really a good deal for both of us because, I mean, basically we had a food trailer to use. And then we were bringing people out that would see his restaurant when they came to eat at our stuff to help bring in customers. His customers see us. It helped us out. And that's what built, and it's just really great. And he's been so good to us. It's hard to.
But that's how it should be. I think that's one of the best things about the Fayetteville community and its downtown community. They all work together. It's not necessarily a competition because we're all here. We have different audiences. We have people with different tastes. But if we work together, we can reach more of them.
Absolutely.
And that's what happened with you guys. And I think it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something that's really cool. A lot of people think because you go to a big city or whatever that everything's better there or you're going to find these better things. I was just in New Orleans last weekend and went to some of the acclaimed restaurants. I went to one that was recommended. I actually sat next to a New Orleans native on the way from Atlanta to New Orleans, and he happened to be a foodie.
When you get a local foodie,
and he happened to be a foodie. I'm like, can you tell me some places to eat? And he did, and one of them was called Katie's, and that was my late wife's name. So I said, I got to go. I have to go. The food was really good. But let me tell you one thing they had there that was just amazing. What? They made eggplant fries.
What? Ooh.
They cut eggplant into strips and then put a batter on them and then fried them, and then topped them with Parmesan cheese and with a marinara dip. Oh my goodness gracious!
Wait,
It
did you
was
take a
so
picture
good.
of that? I was stalking your pictures.
No, I
did not
I did not
see the
take a
eggplant
picture of that one.
fries. You were holding out, Wade.
But anyhow, here's the point. It was really good. It was really good. We went to another place called Arnaud's, which is a like been known forever in there, and it was good. But this is what I realized. I sat and talked to Bud. Was it yesterday, the day before, and said, you know what? Been to some of what were rated to me as some of the really, really, really good restaurants in New Orleans, and guess what? Our food's just as good or better at this place and at our place. And it made me feel good about what we're doing here in Fayetteville.
And when you mention something like that, it just takes me back to I just tell people we're not a 4-star Michelin dining restaurant. We're just good home cooking, but it's good. Yeah. That's the whole thing. Good. Yeah, it doesn't have to be some fancy place to be prepared right. Well, and that's the way with the barbecue. I mean, if you haven't eaten his barbecue chicken, that is, no one comes close to doing it that well.
Well, here's the thing also that I like. You go into Bud's and you feel like family. Mm-hmm. You know, you go to Dossavarian House and you're welcome. It's not like, oh, you're just somebody to come and sit down and eat. You know, and here's a number. See you later. Yeah. You know, and hopefully we try to do that at our place too. Yeah. Is that we'll come by, talk to you, tell you thank you for being there. You know, the most underappreciated word I think that people understand is thank you. It's the most powerful thing you can say to somebody.
And you definitely leave that impression because on our first visit to your actual brick and mortar location, that was the first thing my husband said, and he's like semi-antisocial, but he was like, oh my goodness, he's so friendly because you came over, you talked. One though, I must say, Wade shocked me because he knew who I was, and I was like, oh my god, Wade knows me. And he was like, hey, that Mrs. T, right? And I was like, wow, really? I didn't. Okay, but you definitely made us feel welcome. You made us feel at home. And my husband was impressed by it. And so I agree. That should be the goal of any business owner, to make the person feel welcome. Not that they're just the next clink or cha-ching on your cash register, but instead that they're becoming a part of your community. Because that's what will bring them back.
We feel like the restaurant's our living room. We really do. I mean people come in. You're going to meet a lot of friends. Mm-hmm. You're going to make a lot of friends. And that's what it's all about. We've got our retirements. We're not it's a business, but we're not out trying to get rich. We're having fun with this.
Yeah. Well, you know, the other thing, too, there's a German tradition where, you know, if you've got some of your regulars that are come in a lot of time, they have the special table called the Stammtisch. Mm-hmm. Tisch means table. And the Stammtisch is that where the sort of like you've been here enough that you're family.
That's awesome.
And they have a Stammtisch.
You do?
At their restaurant.
Well, I hope I can earn a seat at the Stammtisch.
Well, we're not totally traditionally German. We don't tell people not to sit there.
Oh, okay. So
in Germany, but they do have
the table.
I'm going to look for that table.
In Germany, though, the locals know it. You don't sit there till you've been invited.
Okay.
Right, that's a traditional thing in Germany.
All right, well, we've got to take a break. We'll be back in just a minute. You've been listening to What's Going On Fayetteville here on the WIDU Radio Network.
Thank you. Wow.
What's next on the agenda to talk about something coming up? And then we'll come back to food.
I was going to get my joke in now. Tell Vladimir I'll talk to him later.
Speaking of Vladimir, I was in Vienna visiting with my son in Vienna, and we were walking past this vineyard.
Yes.
And there was people's names on the section of the vineyard that had, you know, like this. They had the rights to those grapes or whatever else. And Vladimir Putin was one of them.
Really interesting. Yeah, he has the rights to a lot of things.
No, that picture I took though, that you know, if you're in New Orleans, you got to have breakfast. You got to have beignets once. You know?
Yeah.
So I went to
Cafe du Monde.
But I went to Cafe Beignet.
Okay.
Because the driver that took us from the airport, they asked him, you know,
right,
where's the best place to get a beignet? He's like, oh man, what are you talking about donuts for? You can get those anywhere. I said, yeah, but it's New Orleans donuts. They said, okay, well then go to Cafe Beignet. He said, don't go to Cafe du Monde. Those things are too heavy. Go to Cafe Beignet. They're more like the kind my grandma made, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I went there and I said, well, I can't just have beignets. So I looked and I said, well, what else is New Orleans? Ooh, andouille sausage. Okay, so I had an andouille sausage omelet. And,
Wow.
Did you get some of their chicory coffee?
I don't drink coffee. So
Okay.
Oh, Wade, you just hurt my heart.
Really, I can't wake up without
Coffee does not like me.
It doesn't like you. Oh, okay. You just don't get along.
It just doesn't know you.
It makes my body. Me
and coffee are good friends.
It makes my body do things I really don't.
You can't go there with that. Okay, so today you have the first annual vegan festival.
First annual vegan festival.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Minute on the
Vegan barbecue.
And then let me see if I can get some more details on that. First annual vegan festival is at Prima Elements on Anderson, and it's from 11 to 6, so they can still make it. And what else happened today? And then I have some other kid stuff that I can mention.
Okay.
And today is not very. Oh, Espresso is having a pop-up on the 30th at Good Living Coffee Zone. And Axes and X's, have you seen them?
Oh yeah,
It was so fun.
yes,
It was so
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
I did it over at the farmer's market. But it was
You
really
throw
fun.
axes.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
really?
I actually hit the red. Like I was
Yeah.
super excited. Too bad I
And
didn't
say
win.
axes, they're
Serious?
hatchets, really.
Yeah,
They're
right,
actually mobile, so they'll
Oh,
go to
okay.
different events and they
Yeah.
set up their
Oh.
whole target system and everything. Yeah, and it's veteran owned.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
wow.
can
I
talk
did
about
chat
that.
with
We
him.
can talk about that.
Boss man, let me know when you're ready,
We're
sir.
ready. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you. Let's see. They keep calling, won't say nothing. Okay. You all can begin.
Calling you guys.
And 3, 2, 1.
And welcome back to What's Going On Fayetteville here. It's Wade Fowler. I forgot to mention, we talked a lot about Dots Bavarian House Restaurant. I happen to own Fowler's Restaurant at
Yes,
723
you do.
West Romance Street if you like barbecue. But you know what, Tiffany, we're going to talk about something besides barbecue right now that's big this weekend, right? It's still food related,
Yeah,
but
is
it's
food
not
related.
meat related,
No,
right?
it is not meat related, but we know that our community is not all meat lovers, unfortunately. But there is a vegan festival happening today from 11 to 6 p.m., so you still have time to make it. It's the first annual vegan festival. I actually have a few friends who are going to be down there because she was excited to hear about this. It's happening at Prima Elements Holistic Wellness Center, and that is down on Anderson Street, right downtown.
Okay, and for those of you that don't know what vegan is, they eat nothing that has any kind of animal product at all. You know, vegetarians,
plant-based.
many vegetarians will still eat things like cheese or anything that doesn't kill the animal, but comes from the animal. But vegans, it's like nothing
exceptions
animal. It's
at
all plant-based. And some may wonder and say, can that even taste good?
It
But
does.
actually it does. I mean, they can do a lot of good stuff with it.
And they have a lot of workarounds because they
Yeah.
have stuff that looks like a burger, but it's not a burger.
Well, we're actually looking at something for the restaurant for vegetarians. I doubt we'd ever be totally vegan, but for vegetarians that tastes like pork.
Oh, wow.
See.
It's well, I'm trying to remember the name of the darn plant. I started talking about it and forgot the name of the plant. But there is a fruit. It's a big long thing, and when you take it, it tastes like pork. And I'm trying to remember the name of it. I can't even. But yeah, it's a plant. So we're gonna be looking into that. But yeah, I mean, you know, just because it doesn't have meat in it doesn't mean it can't taste good.
No, and I started to pity my friend, and her name is Angela, and she's actually a blogger as well for mommypr.com, and she's going to be at the festival today. She's super excited because she wants to prove the point that vegans do not have to eat yucky food. That's what she always tells me. She was like, my food can be just as good as yours. It just doesn't have meat in it.
Actually, it can taste even better because they have to be more creative.
Yes, they
And
have to, like
it's
I said,
actually
find those
delicious.
workarounds. It
My
is.
sister's a 100% vegan, and she's been for years and years and years. And we go out to eat with her occasionally, even though I really prefer the meat. But we will go occasionally.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
you know,
a foodie. I'll eat anything. You know, it's the experience. And some of the food is just phenomenal.
I have to tell you that we have a young fellow that was at our church that was he was a vegetarian. He wasn't vegan,
Okay.
but he nicknamed himself Tofu. And I told him, I came to him one time and I said Tofu. I said, I don't know. Did you know that pork is vegetarian? He went, what? I said, all he eats vegetables is just reconstituted vegetables. It's, you know. So,
Wait, he probably did not agree with that, did he?
He thought about it.
It made him take a second and think on it.
But it was it. So what else is going on this weekend?
Okay, before we leave, though, I do want to make sure that everybody knows that the Vegan Fest is free and open to the public. So I'm assuming it's like free to attend, and then you just purchase whatever you want there. Another thing that's happening is Axes and X's, which I actually met recently. It is a veteran-owned business, and they do axe throwing. Like, they come, it's a mobile business. They come to wherever you are, wherever event you want them to do. They set up their targets, and they teach you how to throw an axe.
Yeah, yeah, I've done that too.
You did it
before, yeah.
Did you hit the red? I hit the red, Wade.
I did too.
You did? Okay, so I won't bother you.
Oh, no, I feel left out.
Look, hey, come on, I was trained military.
Oh, yeah, so that makes sense. Well, I wasn't, so maybe I get a few extra points
I would
because I
say,
was not trained
if you
military.
haven't done it, you need to try it. It's a lot of fun.
You should. And Axes and X's is going to be at a pop-up, which means they're just going to show up at Good Living Coffee Zone, which you know is one of my favorite spots.
And Good Living Coffee Zone is
veteran-owned as well, and it's in Market Fair off Skybow.
Market Fair off Skybow, where
1916 Skybow Road, and the pop-up is happening June 30th from 4 to 7 p.m.
From 4 to 7. I wonder where they're going to set up. Or they just guess it'll be in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's
somewhere.
what I'm thinking, the parking lot area.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. They actually have their target is this big backdrop with red circle paint on with I think it's 2x6s, you know, side by side. So I mean, it's a thick chunk of wood that you're throwing into, and by the time you get done with it, they've got sawdust left behind.
My ex actually jumped back at me the first 2 times. I was like, okay, wait, I don't know if I'm ready for this. She was like, no, you got it. She showed me the stance, and I hit the red. And I got it on video, guys. You guys can go see it.
Oh, you have proof. That's better than Wade's story.
It didn't happen if you don't take a picture or at least get a video. You have to show it.
You know, I was taught, because we flew some really dangerous, interesting missions in Germany, and I believe in the term of plausible deniability.
Well, there you go.
So if there's not absolute proof, if somebody's got an issue with you, you've got plausible deniability.
I do not recall that at all.
My husband did not believe that I made the red, so I had to have proof. When I got home, he needed to see a picture. It didn't happen for him.
But I want to ask you something. This could be food related, non-food related, whatever.
Go ahead.
Because you came to Fayetteville from a long way ago, and everybody talks about Fayetteville and all the stuff that's wrong with Fayetteville. You've stuck around. What are some
That's
of your
a good
favorite?
way to say it. Stuck.
What are some of your favorite things around Fayetteville? You got any favorite things around Fayetteville?
I don't get out of the restaurant.
Whoa.
No. Well, it's a business, and it's rough. A lot of hours. What do I have favorite things in Fayetteville?
Besides my barbecue.
Oh, well, that's the only place I ever go when I'm not in the restaurant. Well, go outside of town, Raven Rock State Park. You've got this Cape Fear Trail out here, nice hiking trails. The downtown in this town is wonderful. It's a beautiful old place, and I love seeing it growing. What else is there around here? Like I said, I'm stuck in the restaurant.
Yeah, I know.
The mountains, I love, of course, getting up to the mountains and to the ocean. The state's wonderful.
Okay.
And the people here are just as great as they are anywhere in the world. Yeah.
So I'm going to switch back to food because
All
that's what I
right,
wanted to
let's
hear.
do it.
I want to talk about what you serve.
Okay.
Where you are. What maybe you ought to tell people what Spätzle is.
Spätzle.
Because a lot of people may not know. Tiffany just...
I'm like, wait, Spätzle?
What is this?
Yeah, okay. Spätzle is like a noodle. It's a small dumpling, and it's just eggs and flour, and then the spices. And we've been very fortunate that we've collected recipes and worked on our recipes for the past 4 years. This recipe was given to us by a corporate chef who was German, and he came down and worked with us one day. And he gave me his personal recipe, and it's wonderful. It's like a little dumpling is all it is. And it's served with, most of the time, with gravy on it, a mushroom gravy. And people love it. We make a lot of our stuff here. We don't make everything, but everything we can, we make here. We make a lot of our desserts here. We pound our schnitzels fresh. We make our sides fresh. So,
You know, the Spätzle is kind of like to Germany. Spätzle is like rice is to Japan, I guess. You know?
Okay, so it's a staple.
It's I mean, you just about it's the starch you get with your meal. And I lived in Germany for 3 years, courtesy of the U.S. Air Force. And I will tell you right now, people, the Spätzle at Das Bavarian House is as good as any I had in Germany. I mean, it took me back to Zweibrücken, Germany, to my favorite restaurant there.
And we make it
and
fresh.
with that Jaeger gravy on it, you know. And Jaeger means hunter in German, and Jaeger Schnitzel is the schnitzel, pan-out schnitzel with this Jaeger gravy, which is
mushroom.
Which is mushroom, so it's like they go out in the forest, and you know, so it's kind of like brings them back to being out in the hunt in the forest, and seeing the mushrooms and stuff out there. And it's a brown gravy with mushrooms that'll just blow your mind. It's so good.
It sounds like a lot of German cuisine is focused on the spices, from what you're saying, right?
Well, I think all food is focused that way. You know, you start with a basic meat or whatever, and then you treat it however you do. I think the spices are what make a lot of things unique, different foods.
Yeah, one of the other things that you have over there is your rouladen. I think that's...
Yeah, the rouladen dinner.
We make rouladen from scratch. We pound our schnitzels from scratch. We do our chicken schnitzels from scratch. So we do a lot of it that way.
Now I have a confession, and as two veteran foodies, please don't laugh at me. I have never had a Reuben sandwich.
Oh.
What am I missing out on? And
Oh,
should
you
I
are
try
missing
it?
it.
If you have not tried their Reuben sandwich, you're really missing out.
So do I need to add that to my list of things?
No, just run on down here right afterwards, and we'll pull out some of the Reuben meat that we use, the corned beef, and we'll let you taste that. And people, I always ask them when they come into our restaurant, they're coming for the German food, but I always ask them, do you like Reubens? And if they say yes, I usually bring them out a little sample of the Reuben meat. And then I stand there and I watch them. Because their reactions, I mean, they eat this and their eyes roll back in their head.
It's an experience.
Oh, yes it is.
Yeah.
It's delicious. You're not going to... We use real corned beef. A lot of these places that do Reubens use processed gelatinous deli type stuff that's shaved, you know, as thin as a piece of paper.
Yeah.
That's not a real Reuben.
So
but that's what people call Reubens.
Reuben. So I'm going to have my very first
This is
Reuben.
real corned beef.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You had it?
And it's really good marble rye bread, too.
Yeah, it is.
I think the bread can make or break any sandwich.
Absolutely.
Because if it's too hard or too crunchy, it'll just ruin everything.
No, this is, we toast it. It's, oh yeah, come on down, come on down.
You know,
if you come down and try our food, most people come back. Every once in a while you find someone who just doesn't like German food. They've tried it and they go, okay, fine. But most of the time we see people over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been back a few times.
Oh yeah, a few.
Just a couple.
More than a few. But it's... I'm getting a signal here. Oh, we've only got 2 minutes left. Time flies.
I thought you
All right.
was the peace sign.
All
right. Flashbacks to the 60s.
I want to go through this. All right, Tiffany, how do people find you online?
If you want to find me online, just look for TheMrsTee.com. That's TheMrsTee.com. And you can find me across all social media as the same. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. That's where I am.
What is wherever?
Wherever
I didn't know
you
what.
want to find me.
I don't know. That was,
I just made up that new social platform.
There's a new social platform. It's called Wherever. I can see
Wherever.
it.
That's me.
Hey, why don't we work on that?
We
We'll come up with
should.
Wherever.
It'll find you wherever you are.
Okay. Bud, tell us where we can find Das Bavarian House.
3500 Murkison Road, Wednesday through Sundays. Come on down. Ask for my wife to sing for you.
Oh, yeah. His wife, by the way, is a retired school teacher. I think you did instruments and she did voice, right?
Well, actually, I sang.
Well,
you just never heard me
full of
sing.
surprises.
So, yeah, but I mean, did you teach?
Teach talk choir.
You taught choir. Okay,
Yes.
so both of them did. Both of them. Well,
That's right.
I've never heard him sing.
Nope.
But my goodness gracious, Vicky's voice is amazing. He plays the electric keyboard in there, and she'll sing. I think everybody likes to hear Edelweiss.
She knows that one, yeah.
But anyway, it's just really great. 3500 Murkison Road for Dawson Buried House. Listen, guys, thank you so much for listening in. We hope you'll be back next week. There'll be a fill-in for me next week. I'm going to unfortunately be out of town again next weekend. And one other thing, if you know someone who would like to be a part of this program, particularly by sponsoring the program and getting great coverage across a lot of blogs and everything going on in Fayetteville, have them give me a call. So anyway, we appreciate you guys listening in. We'll be talking to you next week. You've been listening to What's Going On the radio, on the WIDU radio network.
Pick a radio
That
station.
was good.
Pick a radio station.
So nice meeting
It was
you.
nice meeting you too, and I have to come in and get my very first Reuben sandwich.
Just come on down and ask for a taste of the meat.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
And
I was a
give
little
me your
embarrassed that I
camera
never
and
had
I'll
one.
video you as you try it.
So you can see my reaction. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
it's so
yeah.
good.
Get a,
That's
Reuben,
right.
get a Reuben and some Spetzel. What's that?
A Reuben and some special.
Spetzel is one of those, it's
But
all
I want
you
some beef
need.
sting cake.
Some
No.
people don't like Spetzel.
There's something wrong with them.
Well, it's
There's
personal
There's
taste.
absolutely
There's
something
something
wrong
wrong
with
with
them if
them.
they don't like
Personal,
Spetzel.
personal taste.
That'd be like somebody telling me they don't like brisket.
I know it.
What? What is wrong with you?
But you know, a lot of people don't.
Have you heard David's new idea that he wants to try?
No, what?
By the way, he's going to be making his own corned beef. I saw some, and I saw some.
Oh, he's going to corn some of it?
We got some briskets in the walk-in.
Well,
right now. We're going to.
If he can make it better than what I use, maybe I'll start buying it from him.
But he's we're looking at doing our take on a BLT.
Uh-huh.
Is it gonna be
Hey.
brisket?
No, a goat cheese stuffed fried green tomato with arugula.
Turn that radio back on.
Yeah,
Turn that
you
thing
need-
back
you
on.
should've mentioned that then.
And then pork belly that's been smoked and then seared on the flat top so it gets crisped up.
Can you just bring us all a taste for the next show? Bye guys. I'll see you guys next time.